Good evening everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss the clause of IS 1893 as 6.4.3.1, which is given on page number 14. Here it is written that for structural analysis the moment of inertia shall be taken as in RC and masonry structure 70% of gross moment of inertia of column and 35% of gross moment of inertia for the beam. Now let us understand why the code has given this value for beam as well as for the columns. So as we know that strong column, weak beam strategy. That means when the structure will go into the non-linear deformation, there will be the deformation of elements of our structure like column and beam. So why we are reducing the stiffness? there are there are two reasons for this clause. The first one is to catch the actual scenario when the earthquake will occur. And second is to counteract the lateral drift of structure. Let us understand this first reason. Why I am saying this to catch the actual scenario when the earthquake will occur. See, suppose I am having one cross section of size 230 mm by 300 mm. Now, if we will calculate the moment of inertia, it will be Vd cube by 12. It is like 230 into 300 cube by 12. So this is my gross moment of inertia. But when the earthquake will occur, as we know that we allow some deformation in our structure. So as the deformation will occur, see, I lose some material. That means some material will spill out. So at the time of earthquake, I won't be having the same cross section as I have taken for the analysis. So if I will take the same moment of inertia, all the result will be wrong when the earthquake will occur. So that's why to compensate or to catch the actual scenario when the earthquake will occur, this is the first reason why we are taking the lesser moment of inertia. Like for the column, it is given as 70% of Ig. Ig means it is the gross cross sectional area, and for the beam it is 35% sorry, 35% of the gross moment of inertia of the beam. Now I have cleared the first reason. Let us understand the second reason, that is to counteract the lateral drift of the structure. See, as we know that stiffness is equals to the force required to produce the unit deformation. Now deformation will be equal to force upon stiffness. Now see, if I would have taken the same cross sectional detail, that means the stiffness will be of the gross, and deflection, it won't be matching the actual scenario or the actual condition of the structure when it will come under the earthquake. So what we have done, what code has done, they have decreases the moment of inertia. That means as the moment of inertia will get reduced, that means stiffness will get reduced. That means structure is becoming flexible. So as the structure is getting flexible, that means deflection is increasing. So but code has restricted the lateral drift of my structure. Like you can see in the clause 7.11.1.1, the story drift in any story shall not be exceed 0.4% times the story height. So if I would have taken the same stiffness, that means I would not have got the same actual drift when the structure are coming under the earthquake. So what we have done, we have reduced the stiffness, and as the stiffness will get reduced, that means deflection will increase. So I am getting actual deflection of my structure. So what has done, code has given this lateral drift for my structure. That means that any story should not be greater than 0.4% of story height. So by doing this, by taking the effective moment of inertia of my section, I am counteracting two reasons. First is the actual scenario when the earthquake will occur. That means I won't getting the same cross sectional when the structure will go into the non-linear deformation. Second is code has restricted this lateral drift, so I have to calculate the actual drift of my structure. So that's why we have using the effective stiffness for the column as well as beam. So in the next video I'll explain why the code has used like 35% and for beam and for column as 70%. So for this video it is sufficient. Thank you so much.